I've audited dozens of Google Ads accounts across different business types and markets, and I've identified 15 most common mistakes made by Google Ads advertisers. Whether you're managing your own account or working with an agency or freelancer, this information will be super valuable to you. You can use it as a quick Google Ads account audit to make sure you're not making these common mistakes, as they can seriously undermine your results and waste your budget. The first mistake is poor management of negative keywords. Many advertisers spend a lot of time meticulously checking their search term reports, but they often go overboard adding negative keywords. They end up with long, unstructured lists of negative keywords scattered across ad groups and campaigns, sometimes in multiple negative keyword lists with different match types, including broad match. But this can backfire, unintentionally excluding relevant traffic and limiting interactions with potential customers. In 2024, search journeys are more complex than ever. Search terms have evolved to become longer and more specific. If you are too broad with your negative keyword exclusions, you may be limiting the amount of ad touch points with your customers during discovery and evaluation phases. This is what Google refers to as the messy middle. Rather than broadly excluding terms just because you believe that they wouldn't be a part of your search journey, focus on excluding only those that are completely irrelevant to your offerings. Another downside of unorganized negative keywords is that it becomes a nightmare when you want to bring in a specialist or an agency. They will struggle to make sense of your approach, having to sift through hundreds or thousands of unstructured negative keywords. I'm not saying that negative keywords aren't important, they absolutely are, but you need a more lean and structured approach. Take a look at your negative keywords. If you find yourself with hundreds or even thousands of them, it's time to review your exclusions, clean up your negative keywords, and focus on creating account-level negative keyword lists for better and simpler structure. Mistake number 2 is having boring and lazy ad copy. I see advertisers again and again obsess over campaign settings and bidding strategies and focusing on keywords, but then they completely or mostly neglect the ad copy itself. High quality ad copy, including headlines, descriptions, and assets, is arguably more important than tweaks in your campaign settings or structure. Your ad is what people actually see. It's your chance to grab attention and get potential customers to click on your ad rather than your competitors' ads. If your copy is uninspired and lazy, you're not going to get the results you could get with a great ad copy. One mistake I see often is that advertisers simply copy their competitors. This makes it even harder to stand out. Sometimes agencies and freelancers don't put in the effort either. They fill out just the bare minimum number of headlines and descriptions, reducing the probability for Google to find winning asset combinations for you. Don't be lazy. Write all available headlines and descriptions in your ads and put proper time and effort into researching and understanding your customers, their problems, their objections, and so on. I recently made a list of my 10 top converting headlines for Google Ads, and you can download it for free via the link in my bio on my Instagram or my X account at Google Ads Nerd. So make sure to take the time to understand your customer, speak their language, and write copy that captures attention and stands out from your competition. Mistake number 3 is having a slow, low-quality website or landing pages. Remember, Google Ads is just part of the equation. You could have well-written ads and perfectly set up campaign, but if your website or landing page is slow, poorly designed, full of typos, or has broken functionalities, you're going to lose potential customers. Google cares deeply about the post-click experience that users have on your website. If Google detects negative signals, such as visitors quickly abandoning your site, Google will punish you at ad auctions with higher costs. Go and check your website speed using tools like Google's Page Speed Insights. See what score you get for both desktop and mobile. The faster your site loads, the better. According to data, 47% of people expect your site to load in under 2 seconds, and each second delay might decrease your conversions by 7%. This means that a slow website is one of the biggest potential areas for improvement in your business. Unfortunately, many advertisers neglect this aspect, spending a lot of money driving traffic to a site that simply doesn't convert as well as it could. Each second counts, and improving these elements can significantly boost your overall market just to your campaigns too frequently. If you do this, you're not allowing your campaigns enough time to gather statistically significant data for learning and for you to properly analyze the incoming information. Also, failing to track the changes you've made or applying many changes simultaneously prevents you from understanding what actually contributed to your results. You'll find yourself in a cycle of constant tweaks without any real understanding of what works and what doesn't. Instead, your approach should be gradual and incremental. Make one change at a time, and then allow Google to gather enough data, both in terms of conversions and time. This step-by-step approach ensures you're making changes to optimize your campaigns, rather than making changes with no real insight. The next mistake is using location or interest targeting instead of strictly location targeting. This is a hidden setting under the location options in your campaign settings, and it's easy to overlook. By default, Google Ads uses location or interest targeting, meaning your ads could be shown to people either located in your targeted area or those who have expressed interest in that location. For example, if you're targeting a specific city and have location or interest targeting enabled, your ads might also be shown to people outside that city who have shown interest in it. This is a common mistake, especially for local businesses aiming to advertise only in specific area, leading to traffic from unwanted locations. To fix this, go into your campaign settings, and if location or interest targeting doesn't make sense for your business, switch it to strictly location targeting. Another major mistake is over-segmenting campaigns and ad groups. I often see advertisers running many campaigns, each with numerous ad groups, and sometimes they still use single keyword ad groups or SKAGs, which is an outdated strategy. All this over-segmentation can harm your account optimization and overall performance because it spreads your incoming data too thin across many campaigns and ad groups and ads. In order for Google Ads to properly optimize a campaign, it needs to receive at least 30 conversions every 30 days. If your campaigns are too segmented, you may not get enough conversions in each one to reach this threshold. A better approach is to consolidate campaigns that share the same goal. This allows you to pool data, making it easier for Google's algorithm to optimize. Similarly, avoid over-segmentation at the ad group level. The best practice now is to create ad groups organized by themes. Group multiple related keywords into the same ad group and create ads that match that theme. The next mistake, mistake number 7, is not segmenting your Performance Max asset groups. This mistake is common because many advertisers treat Performance Max campaigns similarly to how they treat shopping campaigns, often putting all products into a single campaign with a single asset group. But this is not an optimal approach. The structure of a Performance Max campaign allows you to segment your feed if you are in e-commerce business, and also divide your campaign into different asset groups. This segmentation enables you to create more relevant ads tailored to specific audience signals you provide. Think of it like organizing your search campaigns into ad groups by theme. You should do the same with Performance Max campaigns. Often you can follow your website's categorization. If you have product categories or service categories, that's how you should structure your Performance Max asset groups. If you have enough budget and are receiving a sufficient number of conversions, which is 30 conversions every 30 days for each campaign, You can even break up your Performance Max strategy into multiple campaigns. This gives you better control over your budget, your ROAS, or your CPA targets for specific categories. However, if you're working with a smaller budget, focus on one Performance Max campaign, but break it into multiple asset groups. This should be based on themes or your website categories. This segmentation allows you to show the most relevant products and ads to the most relevant audiences. Additionally, customize your headlines, long headlines, descriptions, images, and videos to match the type of product and the landing page you are directing users to. Make sure your audience signals are relevant to each asset group. For example, if you can segment your customer list by product categories, do it. Applying relevant customer list, search themes, and audience interests to the correct asset groups ensures that you're targeting more precisely and maximizing your performance. Now, moving on to mistake number 8, which is specific to e-commerce businesses, neglecting your feed and feed best practices. If you're advertising in countries eligible for shopping placements and you are in e-commerce, your shopping feed is critical to your success. Many advertisers make the mistake of creating feeds with minimal effort without following the best practices for feed titles, descriptions, or additional attributes. With shopping ads, you don't target users through keywords. Google figures out what you're selling based on your feed's titles, descriptions, and attributes. If you're neglecting this and just adding bare minimum details, Google won't be able to properly match your products to the right audience. Optimizing your feed is a huge growth opportunity. Invest time in crafting clear, detailed product titles and descriptions, and utilize every possible feed attribute to help Google understand exactly what you're selling. This will improve your targeting and help reach the right customers. Moving on to mistake number 9, not testing. A common issue is that many advertisers are so focused on running their business that they set and forget their Google Ads. But Google Ads success requires constant testing. If you're not testing, you're definitely leaving money on the table. Google Ads is all about continuously testing different aspects of your campaigns, your target options, your ad copy, bidding strategies, and even different campaign settings. You need to analyze the data from these tests and make decisions based on the results. This is how you'll find what works best and how to optimize your campaigns over time. Don't stick with the original ad copy and campaign structure or targeting you started with. Continuously experiment and refine them. If you're not testing, your account will stagnate and you will miss out on potential gains. The next mistake, mistake number 10, is not following a strong naming convention. This applies to your campaigns, ad groups, asset groups, audience names, and more. When your account is just starting, you might be able to get away with not having a proper naming convention, but as your account grows in complexity, not having one will make it increasingly difficult to navigate and interpret your reports. And if you ever bring in an outside specialist or agency, they will be just as confused. A good naming convention makes things more organized and streamlined. Choose a naming convention and stick with it. Moving on to mistake number 11, monitoring your search terms at all. I've already touched on overly monitoring search terms, but there are two extremes advertisers often fall into. They either spend too much time on it, or they completely ignore it. Both approaches are flawed. To avoid this mistake, you should schedule regular reviews of your search terms. For established accounts, I recommend doing this weekly or bi-weekly. If you're just launching a new campaign, do it daily at first to ensure you're not wasting your budget on irrelevant search terms. Monitoring search terms regularly ensures that you're not paying for clicks on irrelevant searches while also identifying new opportunities. So while it's important not to obsess over search terms every day, don't ignore them completely either. Next up, mistake number 12, blindly following all Google's recommendations. If you've run Google Ads campaigns before, you're probably familiar with the recommendations tab. that frequently shows notifications pushing you to make changes. Google is often aggressive in suggesting ways for you to improve your campaigns, but here's the catch. Google's incentives don't always align with yours. Google's goal is to get you spending more money on their platform. Their recommendations might help you get more reach, but they don't always prioritize profitability. Instead of blindly accepting Google's recommendations, review each one carefully. Only apply the changes that align with your strategy and goals. Be cautious with recommendations that aim to give more control to Google, such as letting them automatically adjust your target ROAS or CPA. Another mistake is ignoring the auto-apply recommendations feature. You can find this section by going to the Recommendations tab and clicking the Auto-Apply Settings icon. In this section, Google can automatically apply certain changes to your campaigns based on what it thinks will improve performance. For example, Google might automatically adjust your target ROAS or target CPA or add new keywords. If you don't review these settings, Google might make changes you are unaware of, leading to unexpected performance fluctuations. I recommend turning off certain auto-apply settings, especially those that adjust your target ROAS, target CPA, or remove keywords. This way, you stay in control of changes being made to your campaigns. Another mistake that I see frequently is launching data-driven campaigns like Performance Max or Display too early. These campaigns don't rely on keyword targeting. Instead, they use audience signals to find the right people across Google's networks. But to make these campaigns work effectively, your account needs to have gathered sufficient data on your target audience first. When you're just starting out, it's better to focus on search campaigns, and if you're in e-commerce business, shopping campaigns as well. These campaign types allow you to gather valuable data on which keywords and audiences convert best for you. Once you've collected the data, you can experiment with Performance Max and Display and other data-driven campaigns. The final and one of the biggest mistakes that many Google Ads advertisers make is ignoring other advertising platforms and not implementing cross-channel remarketing. Remarketing is one of the highest return activities you can do as an advertiser. What I often see is that Google Ads advertisers completely overlook the opportunity to expand their remarketing efforts to other platforms. This is a huge missed opportunity because with very little extra effort, you can set up simple remarketing campaigns on other platforms and see extremely high return on ad spend. Think of it this way: by following your hottest, most engaged audience, those who have already shown interest in your product or service, you can reach them across the internet, not just within Google's ecosystem. If you're already running Google Ads, you're likely doing some form of remarketing on that platform, which is great, but you should also be considering other platforms like Meta, Pinterest, TikTok, LinkedIn, Bing, basically any platform that makes sense for your specific audience and business. In addition to cross-channel remarketing, don't forget about other high ROI strategies such as abandoned cart or abandoned checkout emails, SMS or messenger flows. These tools are incredibly cost-effective and allow you to re-engage your hottest audiences, those who were right on the edge of converting to a sale or a lead, but didn't complete the action. Why does this matter? Well, the ROAS for remarketing is typically much higher than for standard campaigns because you're targeting people who have already engaged with your brand. When you can capture those high returns from remarketing on multiple platforms and through tools like abandoned cart follow-ups, it can help you generate additional revenue. This in turn allows you to reinvest more into your Google Ads campaigns and continue to scale your business. So the takeaway here is, don't just rely on one platform for your remarketing efforts. Broaden your approach. Take advantage of other platforms where your audience spends their time, and